Hi everyone. It's so nice and such an honor for me to be interviewing the world's oldest and most wonderful yoga teacher, Tao, who's come here all the way from the US where she lives. And I'm Namita, and I'm going to be asking her a few questions that I've always wondered about this amazing woman. So, hi Tao, welcome to India.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. So nice to meet you.
Well, I'm glad. So one of the things I want to start with is to ask you, how do you live your yoga? What does it mean for you to live your yoga?
I think it is the breath of the eternal. It's what turns me on comes from within, and that's yoga.
And that spills over into other areas of your life.
To unite and to feel the oneness behind everything.
Right.
And yes.
And spending time with you, I get the feeling it's not something you do only on the mat.
No.
You have it with you all the time. You really live the practice from what I can see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to feel that when you wake up in the morning that you're in touch with nature.
Right.
The sun rises and it tells you get up and do things.
Right.
And don't stop.
Right. Okay. That's lovely. Right. And also, it's really interesting. I was reading in your book, you've marched with Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King, which is amazing to think of. So what was the most inspirational takeaway for you from these two legends?
I think one of the most extraordinary things I saw in my home in Pondicherry, a little gentleman sitting on the floor and with funny little glasses, and everybody was bowing to him. And that was Mahatma Gandhi.
Wow, okay.
It was extraordinary because I was shushed away from it because I was too young.
Okay.
And about 3 weeks later, my uncle told me, put together some clothes, nothing, no fancy clothes. I'm taking on a long trip.
Okay.
And so I was very excited.
Right.
And he said, don't tell your aunt because she'll say it's dangerous.
Right.
And so I went and marched with Gandhi.
Wow.
Yes.
That is so cool.
So long time ago. And he's been my inspiration.
Right.
Just to me, he's just as much a yogi than anybody was.
Right.
Because he practiced for the whole universe.
Right, and his idea of non-violence stemmed from the yogic idea for him, so I would guess. Right, well, that's wonderful. And also, what would you tell someone who is today disillusioned by the state of the world? You grew up in a war time, so how would you,
I think we have to get away from feeling the differences between people. And the one thing that we all have in the whole world in common and with nature itself is the breath of life.
Right.
If you're in touch with your inner self, you're in touch with the breath of the eternal.
Yes.
And if you're like that, then you can feel the oneness with other people. But don't spend your time saying, I'm going to do something tomorrow, or I'm not going to believe in this. I don't put in my mind anything negative every morning.
Right.
I see it's going to be the best day of my life.
Right.
And I feel this way.
Right.
And I feel that this, if people can feel it, when they come in, why do they sit like this?
Right.
Why not?
It shows up, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And a smile on the face
Right.
is worth a million words.
Right. So you're not someone who would be disillusioned by the state of the world with your level of positivity.
Yes. I think truly we have to take care of nature more.
Right.
And at this moment, we're cluttering up the skies with planes.
Oh, yes.
And we're spoiling the atmosphere. We're half of the problems that we're having is to do with the energy that we're eating too much.
Oh, yes.
And just feel that, we're with every breath I take, I know that I'm opening the door
Okay.
to be with all my friends and particularly the children.
Right. Okay. That's lovely. And also, do you have a personal mantra that is your favorite to take you through all the ups and downs in life? Something that's been with you all along?
I just believe not to put in your mind negative
Okay.
thoughts.
Right. Okay.
To always never procrastinate, never put off till tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes.
Right.
1 minute after midnight is already today. So
Right,
when you want to
yes.
do something, don't sit there and spend your time there. Don't waste your time.
Right.
Life
okay.
is precious.
Yes.
Know that with every thought you take, it should be something that goes out in the world that
Yeah.
encompasses everyone.
Right. That sounds like a really self-aware, conscious way to live and a really trained mind. So
Yeah.
that's something that you've acquired over the years, and that's a huge inspiration.
Well, I had, growing up, I had a wonderful uncle.
Right. Okay.
Yes, and he said, never look down on anybody. Tune in and
Right.
see the wonder of life with everyone.
Right. So he had a lot to do with your attitude
Yes, he
towards
did.
life. That's lovely. Would you have a daily spiritual practice that you'd like to share with everyone watching? Something, a daily spiritual practice, something you do on a daily basis?
Well,
Any
on a
particular
daily
practice?
basis, I do every day classes of yoga.
Right.
And then I go from that into the dance of the eternal,
Right.
ballroom dancing.
Wow,
And
that's lovely.
Not jumping up and down.
Right,
no,
okay.
But feeling the energy moving
Yes.
from in there,
Right.
and don't let it stop
Okay.
here. That's nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Yes.
But if you really and truly feel that you can send that energy throughout the world,
Right. Yes.
that it will meet with you and
Right.
we can become one.
Right. And that's why there's so much grace
Yes.
in your movements.
And nature teaches so much.
Mm-hmm.
And when people say to me about getting old,
Right.
I say, look at the trees.
Yes.
The trees are hundreds of years
Oh,
old,
yes.
but they're not getting any older. What they do is, particularly north of here,
Right.
is that in winter they lose their leaves and they lose everything. They look as if they're dead, but they're
Right.
not.
Yes.
When spring comes, right away, the trees start to get green,
Right.
the energy starts to rise, and the
Right.
blossoms, everything. So
Right.
let's tune into nature and we'll learn how to
Yes.
unfold ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, I think nature is the best teacher that we can find.
Nature is the best teacher.
Yes.
And nature and animals, and I meant to save the animals, save the nature,
Right. Yes.
save the whales,
Yes.
save the,
Oh, yes. I've heard you do a lot of the animal conservation work as well.
Yes, I do. I believe in that.
Right.
I want to feel that we're going to save this. We've taken everything out of the earth,
Right.
and only thing that we put back is junk
Right, okay.
and plastic,
Yeah, that is
and
sad.
so we're ruining the whole
Right.
universe.
Right. I hope that changes. And lastly, what would you say to anyone who's using age as an excuse to give up on their health? You know, especially in India, a lot of people have the attitude about age that once you cross a certain age, there's nothing you can do. Throw your hands up in the air.
No, you just unfold more.
You
just
unfold
learn,
more, yes.
learn to breathe and don't sink like this. You can't breathe if you like, but if you feel the energy rise, then
Yeah.
the whole world, the sun
Yes.
shines and you shine.
Yes, and we can see that so clearly in you every time we look at you.
Yes. Well, I never thought about age until I had several hip replacement, and people kept
Right.
telling me all the things I couldn't do, and I said, I'm not interested in what I can't do. I mean,
Right.
I can do anything if I
Right.
tune into the breath of life. So
Right.
don't sit here like that, but feel the energy that makes flowers bloom and that makes
Right.
nature wonderful and be part of it.
Right,
And-
yes. That's a beautiful message.
We have so much to learn from nature.
Oh, yes,
We
indeed.
do.
And from you, we have so much to learn. So I'm sure this would have inspired a lot of people watching. So thank you so much for
Thank
giving
you.
us your time and for coming down to Bangalore on this
Thank you.
yoga day. Yes,
Well,
it's
I-
been lovely being in your classes. I've really enjoyed watching you teach and the way you move the energy around in the room. It's really amazing.
Know that nothing's impossible.
Okay.
And don't put in your mind negative thoughts.
Okay.
Just put in your
Right.
mind that everything is possible.
Right,
And
okay.
it will work that way.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Tao.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So that was the wonderful Tao telling us how to live as fully and as wonderfully as she does. So I hope that's inspired a lot of you. And happy Yoga Day today and every day. Thank you.
You're actually a symbol of what I believe.
Pardon?
I say you're actually a symbol
Oh, really?
of what I believe.
Okay, thank you so much.
Just,
Yeah.
just smile and
Yeah.
you encourage and send it out and connect.
Thanks so much. That means a lot to me.